So how does one of the earliest examples of Soviet street food become a symbol of a free and independent Ukraine? Well, I guess we're going to try and answer that today, because we're going to investigate Kyiv Perepichka. So this is one of the symbols of Ukraine, and it's one of the worst kept secrets in food here. It's something that locals know about, but it's not really widely popular. It's sort of one of those things that's sort of passively known but not really celebrated. You won't really find it in restaurants. It's not even part of Ukrainian cuisine. It sort of exists somewhere in some weird middle ground between Soviet and Ukrainian food. So basically what it is it's just unsweetened funnel cake dough with a hot dog inside of it. So it is a fried street food that you can eat on the go. And this was invented before people here had even heard the term hot dog before. So it sort of predates any Western food that's sort of similar, and it's its own thing. And it's become sort of an institution of Kyiv. So it's a symbol of the city, it's a symbol of Ukrainian cuisine, and it's one of those things that sort of crosses all class lines. You'll see people of all economic statuses and ages standing in line here, and it's really one of those very, very interesting things. So this has been unchanged since 1986, and it sort of exists in a time capsule. They're still incredibly cheap, absolutely unchanged, and one of the persistent symbols of Kyiv. But what is it, and how does it taste? For that, we're going to have to stand in line to get one of these bad boys. Let's check it out. If it weren't for the massive line, you might not know that this literal hole in the wall holds one of Kyiv's culinary cornerstones, inauspiciously crammed between a bar and scaffolding from a perpetually frozen construction site. While the facade has been upgraded from an unmarked window, the humble fried delight distributed from within is worthy of a closer look. So, as you can see, I got the band back together. They stood in line for me and brought back Perepichka. But while we were standing here, I heard that there were some lovely ladies here discussing Kyiv Perepichka. So it seemed very on brand to sort of ask if they would like to take part of the video. Добре. Дівчатки, дуже вам дякую. І я просто хочу запитати вам, ви спомните, перший раз ви їли перепічки, і що перепічки значать для вас?
В школі ми їли перший раз, коли навчалися, коли були школярками.
Студентами, ще в школі, ще давно.
І саме
Давно? 10 років тому, так?
Набагато більше.
набагато більше.
Так, і ви тільки тут їли, або в школі?
Ні, оці перепічки тільки тут.
Тільки тут. Так, і я теж бачив, що у вокзал і інших прикладах вони є, що схоже, але це не смакує, як тут.
То не перепічка, то сосиска в тісті.
Так, вони є сосиски в тісті, але вони теж жарені.
Але це перепічка.
Це тільки перепічки.
Так, тільки тут.
So these ladies are Perepichka purists. They say that you can only have it here. There's nowhere else that you can have it. І у вас що ще хочу сказати про перепічки? Що це значить для вас? Це як знак.
Її дуже часто їсти не можна.
Ага.
Інколи.
Ага.
Це візитна картка Києва. Добре, ми зараз ще подумаємо, що сказати.
Про перепічки.
Через час. Все, дякую.
Дякую вам, гарного вам.
До побачення.
So how does a Soviet-era street food survive the collapse of the USSR, the chaos of the transition to independence, and the fierce de-Russification of modern-era Ukraine? A core icon of Kyiv's edible identity, but something that's not found in any cookbook. A childhood treat, a drunken indulgence, a meal of convenience, and an impossibly cheap edible souvenir, all in one. So we're back together, and since you guys really loved having Vlad and Anton here, who's serial killery looking down the street, not paying attention, so I thought we'd bring them back and we would have a bit of a tasting. So this is the Kyiv Perepichka. So this is the unboxing, if you will. And it looks like this. It's a little inelegant, but it's basically just a giant lump of fried dough with a hot dog inside of it. So this is 50 grivna, which is roughly $1.20. Yes. So unbelievably cheap. Typically, you'll eat 2 of them, but as the ladies mentioned, this is food that you cannot eat often because it's very heavy. And it's typically after you've had a few drinks, people will come and wait in this massive, massive line for this. So, you want to grab one and we'll all try it together.
Cheers.
So, cheers. Kyiv Perepichka.
Я відкусив теж одне тісто.
We all took big man bites and we didn't even reach the hot dog. I think it's shrinkflation. But when you're paying $1.20 for this, you know, you can't complain too much. The dough tastes sort of like a really dense donut that's been unsweetened. It's not overly oily. Sometimes they can be almost dripping in oil. So maybe the chef's in a good mood today. But it's sort of a constant and a symbol of Kyiv. Everyone knows about this, hopefully.
Непогано.
Once you hit that sausage, it's just really delicious. As the ladies mentioned, it reminds them of sort of their school years. Now, this has been absolutely unchanged through time. So it's really cool that it's still culturally relevant. It hasn't been sort of phased out as almost everything from the Soviet Union has. But this remains, and it's now become a symbol of Kyiv. So you'll see it on sort of like t-shirts and magnets and things like that as well. It's not really as popular as maybe like Kyivsky Tort or like Kyiv cake, but it is a massive symbol of the city. And it's pretty good. So what do you guys think?
Непогано. Добре.
Смачно, як завжди. As always. It tastes like always.
Ну,
Perfectly.
без будь-яких соусів. Просто тісто і сосиска.
Yep, there's no sauces, there's no seasoning, nothing. It's literally as basic as it gets. And as the ladies mentioned, there are a lot of places that have tried to sort of copy this, and none have succeeded. It's only at this one place. So, and it's right off of Khreshchatyk, the main street in the very center of Kyiv. And at this little window, there's no place to sit down, you just have these stalls. So in terms of its location, if you're trying to find it, it now has a more fashionable glass sign. It used to be just a hole in the wall. But if you're trying to locate it, Teatralna Metro is just up this road. And then this is Khreshchatyk Street right here with this very famous, giant, ugly Soviet building. So this is sort of how you can orient yourself to come get yourself Kyiv Perepichka if you find yourself in Kyiv. Just make sure that you don't eat more than 2. You'll see everyone from old people to supermodels walking down the street eating this, coming from this little window.
Мені здається, раніше вони були жирнішими. Раніше прям були аж текло.
Я думав,
Зараз
що
не
вони
дуже.
були дуже масляні.
Прям неможливо було. Зараз навіть бумага, типу,
Так. Ти огортав серветками, вони все одно були в жиру.
So they agree that it's way less oily than it usually is. I don't know if this is a trend or we just got lucky, but these are exceptionally good today.
Це спеціально, вони змінили рецепт.
So they changed the recipe.
More healthy.
Healthier, yeah. I guess because people are living a bit longer and the competition is a bit fiercer and people are more like health conscious. I think that they probably toned down the fat in this a lot. And it does feel a little bit less fried, but still the same as I remember when I first tried it 10 years ago. Do you have any memories of... No, you have to speak while chewing. It's good content. So you can see it's got that fried dough, but it's still quite soft. And then that beautiful little hot dog inside. I thought that they could have lowered the quality of the hot dog, but it's still quite high. This is still super good. Even with the more health-conscious version. A lightly crispy exterior of fried bread that has a warm, soft, chewy interior, hiding a beautiful, surprisingly high-quality sausage, inside providing a juicy, meaty gem enrobed in its doughy envelope. Perfectly portioned, 1 is a snack, 2 is a meal, and 3 would be a stomach-churning irresponsibility. Less greasy and dense than it used to be, but more or less unchanged by the steady march of time. seemingly immune to the massive political, social, and economic changes that Ukraine has undergone in the last 40 plus years.
Я, до речі, не дивлячись на те, що я киянин, я познайомився з Перепічкою, будучи вже студентом. На першому курсі мій друг, мій однокурсник, коли дізнався, що я ніколи не пробував перепічку, ми прямо в той же день після пар пішли сюди, він мене повів, і щоб я познайомився з перепічкою. Це було десь в 2004 році. І з тих пір, під час студентства, я тут вчився недалеко, ми часто після університету ходили сюди, щоб перекусити після пар. Тому для мене це було таке, це символ мого студентства. І, до речі, коли я тільки познайомився, у 2004 році тут було тільки, в меню була тільки перепічка і тільки Кока-Кола, і нічого більше. От. Це зараз там вже дуже модне, фешенебельне меню, кава, там, квас і тому подібне. А раніше було тільки дві позиції – кола і перепічка, і все. І тут, до речі, зустрілася радянська перепічка і американська Кока-Кола.
Yeah, Lenin is rolling in his grave more than usual.
Коса на камінь. Я також познайомився в дитинстві з перепічкою, якщо ми приїжджали в Київ по якимось справам. Я не скажу, що обов'язково кожен раз ми приходили за перепічку, але декілька разів приходили. Я сьогодні телефонував своїй мамі. Мама, привіт. Хотів в неї дізнатися, в чому культовість цього місця, яка його історія, можливо, є якісь корні з Радянського Союзу чи щось таке. На жаль, мама навіть не знає. Це місце культове просто тому, що культове. Ну, тобто, знайти якісь, я запитував у мами, у сестри, знайти якісь корені, чому і коли воно стало культовим, ніхто не пам'ятає. Черга стоїть реально 20 років, ну це просто космос.
Yeah, there is always a line here. It's always long, but it always moves pretty quickly because they only sell one thing, so it goes by pretty quickly. And looking at this online, you don't really understand why it became sort of as Anton mentioned, a cult institution in Kyiv. It just sort of is. It's not really talked about. It's never been advertised. It has no social media presence. It doesn't have any sort of written information about it anywhere. There's some small Wikipedia entry in Ukrainian on it that has almost no information. So it just exists in a literal tiny window in a wall, and you order Perepichki from it. So it's become a symbol of Kyiv, strangely, and it survived through the Soviet period into the modern age, and even now, when people are even like drinking less alcohol, eating less fat, like taking care of themselves more, they still sort of make room for the Kyiv Perepichka. All right, guys, so that's Kyiv Perepichka. Just a quick look at one of the weird institutions in Kyiv that's not really discussed very broadly, but it's something that native Kyivans sort of appreciate and hold dear in their heart. So thank you guys again for joining me. All the ladies that comment on how handsome my friends are, I don't need to hear how handsome I am, but you know, just once would be nice. Too much about these guys, but thank you guys again for joining me, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and
Ciao.
till next time. Blood, fix your hair. Looking so sloppy in these videos.